Hello, everybody, and welcome, as David says, to Fantastic Friday Review and Testimonials. We are so excited that you have joined us today. My name is Laura Balzer. I am a Senior Presidential Director with Lifewave, and I am joined today by my beautiful partner who's on the other side of the country, coming to you from California, Miss Wendy Morgan, who is also Senior Presidential Director. Wendy, how are you? I miss you.
I'm doing good. Hi, everybody. We're like bookends. We're making sure you get all the great information and all the great testimonies. This is such a wonderful thing. And whoever welcomed you here today, they love you. Thank you, Laura.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. So everybody, we have two incredible testimonies today. Settle in your seats, maybe grab a pencil and paper because you might want to take notes because it is really just outstanding. But before we get started, I do want to remind everybody that all Lifewave products are not intended to cure, treat, or diagnose or prevent any diseases. If you are pregnant, nursing, or on medications, we ask that you consult with your medical physician, okay, as well as remembering that these podcasts are for educational purposes only. So Wendy, I think you're going to hit it off today with our first guest, Kurt.
Yes, I absolutely am. So guys, I'm going to introduce Kurt here in a moment, but I want to first show a picture of what he used to look like prior to patching, because you're not going to recognize him. So here's a picture of him. He's quite a handsome fella, still is, obviously, but here he was about, how long ago was that, Kurt? Go ahead and say hello and let us know where you're from. Oh, you gotta unmute yourself, love.
Sugar.
There you go.
That was probably a little bit longer. That was probably 4 to 5 years out.
Oh, wow. Okay. So Kurt, welcome. And thank you very much for coming forth and sharing your story. So where do you live?
Northern Virginia.
Okay, great. So how long ago? So you said that picture is about 4 years ago. And so when were you introduced to the patch?
That would be August 2021. Yeah. About the middle of August then. So a year and a half.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, so you've been on about roughly a year and a half. So what was going on with your body prior hand, and what have you noticed that has changed and shifted for you?
Well, there was quite a few. I had that 5-year time. That's when I had a heart issue, little attack, and then I ended up with AFib. At the same time, I was dealing with Hep C for probably 30 years. That's all been taken care of now. Then tinnitus and arthritis. I've had all of that. And then the one that really got me, why I was so happy to be involved with stem cells, was diabetes sneaking in. And so I had to, that plus AFib, they don't match. And so that put me into the mode of that 2-year period and then dealing with the year and a half to get where I'm at today.
Wow. I mean, there's so much was going on with you. So basically, I presume the tinnitus has cleared up?
No, that's not. I'm a musician, so that's what happened. But it's there, but I'm able to control it. That's with all of these, I'm able to control them with what I've put together. It's a pretty big package, but the stem cells really drive it all. So that's what's really cool.
So what have you found once you started patching? And I know everyone's going to ask, I mean, of course, everybody starts off with the X39. What have you noticed that the first thing was kind of shifting for you and with all these conditions that you had?
Well, it started off with the Fabulous 5, they call. So I just was doing all those. And I've stayed that way. I told Carolyn that I'm going to do this for a year. When I do something, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to do it for a year, and then I'm going to take off for a month. And I want to see what happens then. Well, it didn't take a month for me to come back. But there was a big difference there, and I could feel it, especially energy, especially skin, how my skin looked when all of a sudden and the big one was energy. I really noticed a big energy change when, and even how I acted changed after I stopped for that couple, 2 or 3 weeks, and then we went right back into it. But it also matches all the other things that I put together.
Wow.
So now you were probably already on your way to losing weight, I'm presuming, before you started patching. Is that correct?
Yes and no. The really big one, that picture, I was probably, I don't know, 220. Right now I'm 188. So I realized when it was really, I'm really happy that I got diabetes, right? Nobody really says that, but I did. I was happy because it was pre-diabetes. And I looked at that, and like I said before, matching that with AFib, it's not going to work. And so I got really serious about it, and that's when I was able to put this all together. And that was a big driver, and that's when I decided I really got to lose weight. And so I learned how to do intermediate fasting, and I still do it to this day, because once you get used to it, it's great. Pick your 12, pick your 14, pick your 16 hours. And mine is usually 8 or 9 at night. And I don't eat anything until 12 o'clock the next day. And that's just how I live now. And I really enjoy it. And I actually went to a place where I lost too much weight. And so what is the weight I want it to be? I want it to be between 188 and 193. That was high school level. And so that's a big driver to be able to control all of these things. And so when I'm able to do that, and then I started putting the whole package together with all the fabulous five. I love the fabulous five word, because I can't even say what the names are. So I just stay in there. I know where to put them though, and so I started managing the food, and I managed it in time. So once I found out what would pass keto and what would pass pre-diabetes, that goes into my 85 patch. And everything I would go, you come up with even apple and find out you can't do that with diabetes. So I built off a whole appetite around what I call 85. And that's worked really, really well. And the stem cells, it gives them to really go in my mind, to really go into organs and get everything flowing right once you get this under control. In my world, it takes it to get where I'm at. And then I go what I call number 10. You go to a restaurant, you can't control that. Okay, that's stuff in there that we can't. You think you're eating perfect stuff, but it's not always there. And then the one that is my favorite is number 5. So it's 85 and 5. I built this. Number 5 is do what you want, have fun. I mean, that's a really important thing, because if you use the word diet and then you do it great for 2 months and then you fail, you just drop down, you can't get back out, and it gets worse. So you have to live it. But when you do number 5, if you with your family or something like that, next 4, 5, 6 days, you really got to go back to 85 and lock it back down. So that's how I live. That's how I live, doing all that with the intermediate fasting, and then of course the hot yoga 5 days a week. That also controls everything. So these are some of the basic components that I use to be that picture you're going to show it. And
exactly. So, you're good segue, because I'm holding it. So everybody, so now this is Bill now. Look at that. Toned, strengthened, flexible, and fit. I love it. Oh my gosh, Kurt, this is amazing.
Yeah, yes and no. I'm very, very happy because of how I feel. And it also really helps my music. I play in public all the time. And it all comes together. My brother, he passed. When I had the heart attack, he passed 6 months later with the same thing. So I don't know why, I was the one that still stayed, but I think it's taken all this, and I am very, very happy with all the patches and the stem cells and Lifewave. I think it really drove the big bus. Okay, and I just gave it a platform. I didn't give it, I'm way too sick. I can just fix me. It probably can with some people, but I think it's just has really driven a major part to get me where I am today. I'm very comfortable, and and I'm very proud to be able to figure all that out myself, because the thing is, when you leave the doctor and it tells you have X, and then they give you a pill, you're on your own. You have to figure it out. You have to decide what you want to do and how you're going to do it. I didn't know I would get to where I'm at today. I had no idea when it actually has come over a period of time. But again, it's the hot yoga. It's that whole package. And with you, I keep talking about energy. Energy, that's a huge thing. And that to me is the favorite thing. When you talk about the favorite and fabulous five, it's the energy. Because that was a big thing I missed. And so I have tons of energy. I'm going after the music. I can't wait to get in class. I think that's really driven by the fabulous five.
Yeah. I mean, and you couldn't have said it better. You have to be your own health advocate, especially this day and age. You have to do your research and learn it all. And by the way you have designed a specific, not dieting, but a new lifestyle when it comes to, hang on a minute. Sorry about that.
I actually, I know I've probably talked too much, but I'll stop on this one. I'm going to spend the rest of my life finding people. On my database, I have thousands of people with my previous job, and I want to match them all up, and I want to find out who has conditions. I want to talk to them. I want to talk to them, and I want to share what I know. Of course, some of that's going to be about Lifewave, but I really want to help other people with this package. Once they leave that doctor, what do they have? Okay, that could be me.
And I'm feeling maybe a book in the future here, because what you have designed is amazing. Laura, any questions?
I just think this is so fabulous. Kurt, a couple questions that people might be wondering. Number one, how old are you?
I'm 32.
Yeah.
I'm playing with you. I'm going to tell you a story real quickly. Right now, I'm a couple months from 70. Okay. And I have a chart on this watch here. And when I take hot yoga, it manages, it tells me what my heart's doing. It's telling me what my body's doing. And there's a thing called a PIA now, and that actually reads stuff. And if you push your body, if you push your heart and you're pumping it through your veins, well, that's a really positive thing for the conditions that I have. And now it says, and it cracks me up, and I don't think it's right, but it says your body is 45 years old and your health is 28 years old. And
I think it's right.
I'm not sure I believe that, but as long as it's doing the same thing, and I think a major thing of that is the fabulous five, is driving that bus to get all your components to work correctly to
Right.
be 45 and 28. I don't think it's just hot yoga. I don't think it's one thing. I keep talking like that. But
everybody, this is what he's talking about. So here his little app, and you see at the bottom, or at the top, excuse me, it says basically actual age 28. I love that. And then down below it says 44. That is amazing.
That's a new component, that PIA. You can Google about it, and it talks about how it conditions you. And you know what that tells you? That tells you where are you? Okay, what you need to do? Do you need to get better? Can you be worse? This is a whole big component.
Well, I think the great thing about this is, number one, Wendy and I and many people on here, as well as that 6 months of using the stem cell activation patch, the body reverses its cellular age by 8 years every 6 months. So, I think you're pretty golden there. But I think a lot of people might be listening to your story and think, oh my God, I don't have that kind of time to do yoga and intermittent fasting and do all the other things I need to do. I mean, I'm really brief. I want you to touch on how little time really, if you're getting up at 5 or 6 and you're doing your hot yoga, your whole day is not involved in just taking care of her. Like, there's a lot of other things that you do. And I would really love people to understand that whether it's remembering to put a patch on or getting some exercise, it's important. And I think that you're showing how important that is, but you do have a life. You play music and I don't know, are you retired?
I play a lot of music. I just retired
Okay.
at this month. And well, the third of March, I retired after 40 years. And now it frees me up to do much more music and to work with all of this and help other people. That's what I did before. But
And you're in the best health of your life, would you say?
it's not, when I talk to people, I will mention exactly what you just said about time. How are you going to do time? Well, it's important. And so how are we going to manage this? And so let them decide. I'll be working with them. That is a component of how are you going to manage this? Okay, I know how to do it, and I've been doing it for a long time. The hot yoga does take a lot of time, but it's just something you have to get used to. And I don't think it takes very long. Once you give me a couple months, that's why when I talk to these people, I want to be on Zoom too, and I want to talk to them every month for every week for 2 months to be able to get them in shape. And that part of that will be the timing of things. Of how
That's awesome. That's
life.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kurt. Really just huge testimony.
That was the longest 7 minutes I've ever talked.
Well, you said it was gonna be.
So thank you again, Kurt. And everybody just want to kind of,
and now this picture we have is going to get a lot prettier.
so just kind of pre-warning you guys, we might go a little over. I'm really apologetic, but as you can see, these are amazing testimonies. And now we're going to bring on Caroline, and she's going to talk about herself and also her mother, Laura.
Yeah. Hey, Carolyn, you're ready to go?
Sure.
I'm so excited for you to be on here with us. I've loved getting to know you and work with you and spend time with you. And you have an incredible testimony. So I'm going to let you just take it away.
All right, I'll try to wrap it up a little faster because
you're good.
Pretty good. Let's see here. First of all, I just want to thank you all for letting me come on again today. I did share my testimony about a month and a half into wearing. I started just like a month prior to Kurt. So I would say about a month and 8 months, or a year and 8 months is when I started. And I'm just so grateful to my friend Crystal Blosser, because we've been friends 35 years. And so both of us being on a health quest, knowing some of our issues, just like Carolyn, she's the first person I reached out to. So she mentioned these patches. She said, I'm sending you 5 in the mail. And so I was one of those one patch wonders. 3 days in, I'm like, okay, putting in an order right away. So which I did. I started off with the silver order, and then I quickly jumped to the diamond, because I'm just one of those people that if it's working for me like it did, more than everything else that I tried, which is a lot. Kurt being one of my first friends, I reached out to also, just saying,
So tell us a little bit what was going on before Crystal happened to pop some patches in the mail to you.
Sure. So I had what I call the classic S-curve, 2 whiplashes from car accidents pretty early on in life. And so that created what I call the push-pull. My shoulders were always kind of like this, shoulder blades back. So I was told in high school I should get in a back brace, and I was like, no way. That means I can't swim and ski. And, I was really highly active. And, I always have been very active, mainly because one thing about scoliosis is that it can make you really tired. And so I found that if I'm not moving, it's very easy for me to kind of like just doze off. So it wasn't unlike me to be exercising 3 times a day, rocking all the time. Like I just never could be still. So thank God for chiropractic care. I did get involved, 3 times a week for a good 3 years. And by the way, I'm 58, so kind of do the math, high school to 58. So wow. I just, so that was, kind of the basis for always asking God, if you just give me a new back and neck, I would be so forever grateful. So I tried virtually everything. Chiropractic care definitely helped. 28 years of hot yoga, the hot Bikram yoga, absolutely has helped me. I mean, those are just, inbred, like I will never stop doing Bikram hot yoga and other yogas as well. Really helped me, but I still always felt pain. I still always felt, I was hitting the wall a lot. For many, many years, just tried magnets, essential oils, acupuncture. I've even had cranial sacral therapy because I had some other blows to my head, not just the car accidents, but something that happens now wearing the patches that you really start to become very present to the past. And so I had stuffed a lot of these times that I had more blows to my head than I actually realized. It was kind of the joke in the family that I was definitely not the graceful one, like my mom, like I was always.
So then Crystal sends you the patches after
Yeah.
all these therapies that you've done. And in 3 days, what was the first thing you noticed?
So the first thing I noticed was, like Kurt said, definitely increased energy. Menopause, I can put that into the mixing bowl, really had a huge impact on me at 51. So I started to feel that increased energy. I was feeling like, what the heck? I'm walking upstairs and it's not as easy. I'm not running upstairs, but 3 days on the patches, I'm like walking up the steps, like, energy like flowing. And then my shoulder blades came down for the first time. Like I could just always feel like they were up like
Up
this.
here, right.
Knots always. I always had the most amount of knots always, And so that immediately was why I called Crystal, like, yeah, I've got to get an order in right away. So I believe I started off with the X39 and the Aeon, like those two. I just, even to this day, I tell everybody, adding to the mixing bowl of other modalities I had tried, 5 years back, I spent $10,000 on the stem cell injections because I'd been doing research and found the beauty of stem cells was where it's at. It's absolutely what I need. I need something. In addition to everything I've tried, I just wasn't getting that breakthrough. So the stem cell injections, I didn't have that kind of money. I'm a single mom. I adopted my girl myself, and I didn't have that kind of money, but I was like, I need help. So it didn't work. I had too much inflammation in my body. So now that I'm on the Fabulous 5 and I've added to that, so I'll just share some other what I would call symptoms that I didn't want to share the last time I shared because I just hadn't. I'm just going to say I feel pretty private about it. I'm a mind over matter person, like think positive, don't talk about your stuff, just, whatever it takes, so a lot of this was very much my story that I was kind of keeping in the back of my head, but not sharing. And that is, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety. I was having panic attacks, and menopause absolutely affected my mind, where I was having a lot of brain fog. So now I feel the best I've ever felt in my entire life. I'm not even saying what age I felt this way. I never felt this way. I truly at 58 feel like I have a new lease on life. I do call it the Holy Grail because there's just nothing else out there that's actually made me feel this good. I added Nirvana. I don't take it daily, but I do take the supplemental daily now. I've never had depression, but I had what I would say were feelings of, circumstantially, I had a lot coming at me with my mom with dementia and caring, taking care of raising my daughter myself and working long hours and menopause. Well, a lot of things that were weighing on me. So I would say the anxiety, I just feel calm now. I feel grounded. The Nirvana, I also understand, is contributing to lessening pain. So I don't feel that pain anymore. I feel strong. I'm biking.
Wow.
I'm just.
Well, you looked very relaxed, like when you're sitting there versus when I first met you. Like you can tell there's a there's just a relaxedness of you. Is that a word? We have to look that up. But like your shoulders, your face is light, your eyes are bright, your smile could light up the city of New York. There is a big difference from then when I first met you and to now. And it's really something that you should be proud of. Wow.
Yeah, I am. I'm so grateful. I thank God. I thank David Schmidt. I thank Crystal. I thank you all. I'm a part of the amazing company with you all. Everything is just so much brighter. stand up. I want to share with everybody, like, you got to believe me. And it gets better. That's what I keep telling people. It's a compounding effect.
Yeah.
You know, for anybody that gets on these patches and after 2 months, well, I don't really know if they feel anything. I'm like, just trust me.
Keep going. Yeah.
Keep going. You know, like, it's going to get better. I promise you. And, you know, I don't want to wrestle people down and saying, this is what you got to do. But, you know, this is my message to everybody. Just stick with it, because honestly, I am stronger now. I'm biking. My 2-foot surgeries where the second surgeon said you'll probably never get your nerval damage back. I mean, like, everything is just working better. So
And you got all that feeling back in your feet after those surgeries.
Well, and the surgery was really botched. I mean, I had a second surgery. Like, I don't know what he was thinking. And, you know, like, I knew I had issues, but he verified, and I'm out there jogging now. My biking recovery, like, I don't even feel my neck hurt ever anymore. That's just never been the case. I know I probably ran it out of time, but I wanted to.
But you know what? I know you want to talk about your mom. And so, with your permission, just because I know people are dying to hear, how can a quarter-size patch do everything? And when you said you wanted to wrestle people down, all I could do was picture you running down the street, attacking them and smacking a patch.
No, I don't do that. I don't.
But we would love for you to come back and talk about your mom, because I know it's made a big difference in her life as well. And you're just amazing, and we appreciate you. And I know it's only continued to get better and better. You're changing hundreds of thousands of lives, and thank you. We really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. So Wendy, how can this be? I ask that every Friday, like I don't know. How can this be?
Absolutely. And Caroline, if you could, in the chat section, just go ahead and mention to everybody what is the Fantastic Five, because people are asking that question. I'd appreciate that. So everybody, so what is going on? What is Kurt and Caroline using? I mean, for Caroline to be in pain for 56 years, and now to be completely clear of neck pain, you know, basically you can see her, she's moving around like she's got full range of motion and strength. And then Kurt, holy cow, all those issues are basically diminishing, and he's lost so much weight, and he's so much stronger and has so much more flexibility. Amazing all the way around. And these testimonies don't ever stop. Every single person that comes on here tries this little thing. That's all it is, guys. This little thing. Can you believe it? So this is the X39 patch, and this is the holy grail to the stem cell technology. And so you can see right there, it's just a piece of plastic. It's pretty darn thin. And the center is a piece of gauze. And inside that gauze is where all that magic happens. And you can see I've got one right here. And inside that gauze is a simple organic salt, sugars, amino acids, and water. We don't outsource anything. And that makes a specific crystal lattice. So therefore it reflects back into the body specific light waves. You heard me right. So actually your body emanates a slew of light waves. We're very well aware of infrared. You know, we've got night goggles. We can go ahead and find each other at nighttime. But nevertheless, so the heat basically, or the infrared from your body, starts to activate this patch. And then the light, the rest of the light that emanates from your body actually is reflected, certain light waves are reflected back into the body to activate GHK copper peptide. Now, this particular technology is called photobiomodulation, a long word for something you've been using your whole entire life. So just like every single time you've been going out into the sun, and the sun's light waves have been kissing your skin, activating your body to make vitamin D. So the sun does not make vitamin D. Your body makes it, but it needs that stimulation of that specific light wave. So the same thing goes with this specific patch, the X39. It reflects back into the body specific light waves that stimulate the body to make GHK copper peptide. Now, GHK copper peptide has been with you as well from the even earlier stages before you met the sun. When you were in the womb, GHK copper peptide was one of those beautiful, miraculous events that God created. And then the body knew your mama's body knew now it's time to make stem cells. So made bone, brain, blood, muscle, etc. And those stem cells literally 3D printed you in the womb. And those stem cells are still with you today. And that GHK stayed rather proliferant throughout your whole entire childhood to make sure those bones grow nice and strong and long, and the brain develops. But for whatever reason, after puberty, that GHK starts to decline. Now, these stem cells need that stimulation of GHK copper peptide. And since they're not getting as much, what the body does is it takes those stem cells that you were born with, they're with you still, they don't ever die, and it puts them into hibernation. To the point that by the time you're 35, you have less than 45% stem cells that are currently working in your favor. By the time you're 60, I think it's like 0.9%. And by the time you're 80, we're not really finding any of them. So you can see if the body's unable to literally go out and replace, mind you, I did not say repair. I said replace that cell that is unable to perform its functions with a brand new cell. Therefore, you're seeing the aging process. So once you start putting on this little patch, and there is two particular placements at which we recommend. One is behind the neck and the other one is below the belly button. But as you can see, we can actually place this patch anywhere that is necessary. Maybe for Caroline, she put it directly on her neck because of her neck pain, or maybe on her back because of her back pain. So you put it, you love the spot with this patch, and it will definitely go to work activating those stem cells and focalizing it definitely right in those areas. You basically wear only for 12 hours on and 12 hours off for many different reasons. One, we just don't really want to overstimulate the system of that specific light wave, so the body doesn't really get reactive to it. Now, if you want to learn more about GHK copper peptide, GHK copper peptide in general is just amazing for the body. I recommend that you go to startx39now.com, and there you can learn more about the GHK copper peptide. You can learn more about the stem cell activation patch, and you can actually learn more from the person who invented it himself. His name is David Schmidt, but I'm going to let Laura tell you a little bit about David. Laura?
Oh my gosh. You know what? The man is amazing. That's all I have to say, right? Just wrap it up in a pretty little bow. You know, he's quite a visionary. He comes from such a heart-centered place. And again, Wendy mentioning to you guys, startx39now.com. If you're a little confused, you know, about like, God, really, how does this work? You know, there's a little 3-minute video in there. There's a 1-minute video in there, but there's also an 18-minute video in there that really digs deep into David. And, you know, I think that where I'd like to start is this company has been around, you know, between 19 and 20 years. So we're not a new company, even though the X39 stem cell activation patch has only been out in the marketplace for about 3 years. So if you're new to this, that's why you haven't heard it, and be grateful and thankful that you're hearing about it today. But I want to touch briefly on how this all got started. Is when David Schmidt was contracted with the Defense Department. He was doing work with the Navy SEALs, and they had asked him to please devise some type of something, a technology that would provide the Navy SEALs, and we all know they are the baddest people that walk the face of this earth, so they can have stamina, endurance, clarity, energy. And you heard Kurt talking about the energy that he had. Well, the energy patch in which David first devised is what started Lifewave. It's what started this biotech company. And it just kind of blew up from there. You know, we all know what happened in 2001, is that what it was? 2001, when the buildings went down, the Navy and all forces went to a different direction. But David knew he had something very special in his hand, and that is where Lifewave was born, because he knew he needed to continue on with this technology. And he has provided us with many supporting patches. But here comes the X39 stem cell activation patch, which is really our primary reason for getting together today. So I encourage you to go where Wendy has directed you, as well as the person that invited you here today. Like Wendy said earlier, they obviously care deeply about you, and know if you do have something going on, that this very well, more than likely, is the answer for you in any aspect of life. And it's just providing a tool for the body so the body can do what it was intended to do. But I got a little off track there, so I want to say something. The energy that you heard Kurt talking about, we're not talking energy like from a cup of coffee or an energy drink. Do you guys remember how you felt in your 20s and 30s? You didn't even think about your energy. You just rolled, right? That's what he's talking about. He just rolls, and we never think about our energy. So Carolyn, up and down the steps like never before. You guys, it is amazing. I wear that patch every single day. And to think that's the patch that started this company, it's just absolutely brilliant. So remember, get back to the person that invited you here today. They're going to help you set up in the most perfect way for you, whether that is a retail purchase or whether you opt in to get a customized wholesale pack so we can meet your needs specifically. Okay, so Wendy, would you like to close this out, love?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And, you know, we do this actually 5 days a week, where people coming out of the woodwork saying, I need to share my story. So Monday through Thursday on the same exact Zoom number, Monday through Thursday at 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. And then again, Fridays, 1 o'clock Pacific time, 4 o'clock Eastern time. And you're welcome to jump on and invite anybody who you'd like to these particular podcasts. Other than that, we hope that you reach back to the person that invited you today. And we look forward to hearing your testimony in like a month to 3 months from now. And for those of you that are listening that are might be a little bit veterans for a couple months, please go to ourteencalendar.com and schedule your time where you want to leave your testimony. Again, you can just schedule it with us, or you can schedule any other time that's convenient for you. And that's a good place to leave your bullet points and to actually choose what day you'd like to be on, nice and convenient. So everybody, I'd like to thank you so very much. And I wish you a great weekend. I stuttered because in some people, this is a new year. Tomorrow is the brand new year. It's actually original New Year's tomorrow. But nevertheless, don't pull too many pranks on anybody with those April Fool things, but enjoy your weekend, everybody. Take care.